Let's be real. The world is moving fast, and every single day we're all trying to get better, to do more, to achieve more. But what if the secret to making a huge impact wasn't some giant heroic leap? What if it was just a bunch of tiny little steps? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore today. We're diving into Kaizen, the Japanese philosophy of continuous improvement that can seriously change how you tackle, well, pretty much anything.
But first, let's talk about something we've all been through. You know, those big, ambitious goals. New Year's resolutions, a huge project at work, that new habit you were definitely going to stick with this time. We start out super excited, right? But then, poof, it all just kind of fizzles out. So what is going on? Why is it so incredibly hard to make those big changes last?
Well, here's the thing. It's probably not the goal itself that's the problem. It's that we try to do way too much, way too fast. We try to make these massive, sweeping changes all at once, and honestly, that's a recipe for failure. The initial motivation fades, and suddenly, we're hit with fear, anxiety, and a whole lot of pressure. That's when our brain just slams on the brakes, and we find ourselves procrastinating and falling right back into our old ways.
But what if there's another way? A smarter, gentler, and way more effective path to getting where you want to go? There is. So let's get into the Kaizen way.
The name itself tells you everything. Kaizen is made up of two Japanese words, kai, which means change, and zen, which means good. Good change. See, Kaizen isn't about some massive revolution. It's about evolution. It's the art of making small, consistent, good changes day after day. And this is what I love about it. Kaizen is so much more than just another productivity hack. It's a whole mindset. It's about building a system for your life where you're just always getting a little bit better, almost automatically. You're always moving forward.
And listen, this isn't just some abstract philosophical idea. It has a serious track record. Kaizen actually became famous because of Toyota. After World War II, they built it into their production system, and it was a total game changer. It helped turn them into a global giant by empowering every single employee, from the CEO down to the person on the factory floor, to constantly be on the lookout for small ways to make things better.
Okay, so that's awesome for a car company. But how do we actually use this in our own lives? Well, it all starts by shifting your focus. Instead of staring at that huge goal way off in the distance, you start by looking at the steps you take to get there. It's time to refine your process.
This is the perfect way to think about it. Imagine your goal is a destination. Your process, the series of actions you take, is the ladder that gets you there. Now, you wouldn't try to climb a wobbly, broken ladder, would you? Of course not. It's the same with your goals. If your process is a mess, getting to your destination is going to be incredibly hard, if not impossible.
So, the first thing we need to do is inspect our ladder. And there's a simple, powerful framework for this, just 7 questions. For any step you take towards your goal, you ask, why is this important? What value am I adding? Where, when, and how should I do it? Who's involved, and how often does it need to happen? It forces you to get really intentional about every single action. Let's make this super practical. Let's say your goal is to read 1 book a month. Okay, the very first step is just choosing the book. But if you apply these questions, you realize why it's important to choose well. You decide where you'll find recommendations, and you set aside a specific when to do it. All of a sudden, a vague idea becomes a concrete, deliberate plan of action.
And that, right there, shows you the power of this. When you get in the habit of reviewing your process like this, you start to see what's actually working and what's just a waste of time. You can trim the fat, make things more efficient, and make sure that every little thing you do is actually moving you closer to your goal. Okay, but looking at your process is just one piece of the puzzle. To make sure the improvement doesn't just happen once, but that it's continuous, you need a system. And that brings us to this really powerful, repeatable cycle that is the absolute heart of Kaizen. This is the engine that drives Kaizen. It's called the PDVA cycle. Plan, do, verify, act. It's simple. First, you plan your small steps. Then, you do them. You just execute the plan. Then, and this part is absolutely critical, you verify. You take a step back and you look at the results. Did it work? What happened? And finally, you act on what you learned, making tiny adjustments to make the process even better next time. And here is the magic. It's a loop. It never stops. After you act, you go right back to the beginning and you plan again. But this time, you're a little bit smarter. This cycle creates this incredible upward spiral of progress. Each time you go through it, your system gets a little bit stronger, a little more efficient.
So we have these amazing tools, right? The 7 questions, the PDEVA cycle, they're super effective. But what really makes all of this work, what makes it truly life-changing, is the shift in mindset that comes with it. It's all about adopting a mindset of growth.
Just look at this comparison. On the left, you've got the all-or-nothing trap that we all fall into. It starts with a big burst of excitement, but it quickly leads to fear and resistance, and usually ends with us giving up. But on the right, you have the Kaizen way. Small, manageable steps. It's less intimidating, so you get less resistance from your own brain. This builds consistency, and every little win builds momentum.
And these small steps, these are what we call mini habits. For a habit to really stick, it's got to be 4 things. Portable, you can do it anywhere. Practical, it's super easy to do. Periodical, you do it on a regular schedule. And positive, it actually contributes to your goal. We're talking about doing 1 push-up, reading 1 page of a book, meditating for just 1 minute. It's so small, your brain doesn't even have a chance to say no.
And that is the ultimate secret of Kaizen. It kind of rewires your brain. It pulls your focus away from some overwhelming, distant dream and puts it squarely on a simple system of good actions that you can do right now, today. It's how you take those big ideas floating around in your head and turn them into reality, one tiny step at a time.
So, as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with this one question. Don't worry about next week or next month or next year. Just think about today, right now. What is one tiny, almost laughably small improvement you can make to get just 1% better? Whatever that is, that's your first step on the Kaizen path.